This is part 2, episode 200. He really did find it. Shahal was shocked, feeling even more joy. When he saw that ancient tree that towered majestically above the divine cliff, his heart was full of excitement. He closed in step by step, able to sense the aura unique to deities from extremely far away. The ancient tree's golden leaves, flowers, branches, and fruits all flowed with dense spiritual essence. It was extremely tall, and also extremely thick. The tree bark was cracked apart like palm-sized scales. The entire tree was a golden color. Youngster, you are quite the lucky individual, actually reaching this place. The ancient tree spoke. It was clear that this heavenly deity tree wasn't an ordinary medicinal herb, but a true powerful creature. Just the fruit it produced alone was enough to make one become a heavenly deity, let alone itself. Senior and I have previously been acquainted. Shahal was extremely polite. He already saw that this ancient tree was much more powerful than the stalk he saw in immortal ancient garden, because that tree suffered serious injuries, the trunk about to break. The tree before him was like a dormant golden heavenly dragon. Sigh, the heavens truly are unfair, your strength already comparable to that of heavenly deities at such a small age, while I've cultivated for endless years in vain, unable to break through. The ancient tree said with a sigh. As a heavenly deity tree, it could produce great Tao fruit, making others become heavenly deities. How heaven-defying was this? However, it was restricted by the world itself, cultivation extremely difficult for it. Its road had long been broken, unable to become a true unmatched expert. Right now, he was just at the peak of heavenly deity level, a single foot in the sect master level. However, generally speaking, it was still more fortunate than other divine medicines, still having powerful strength. One had to bear in mind that regardless of whether it was the void sky divine vine, tribulation crossing divine lotus, or other divine medicines, or even the white tortoise carrying immortal, a long life medicine, even though they possessed heaven-defying medicinal nature, it was impossible for them to cultivate on a deep level, their strength not great. Even though we can cultivate, we are restricted from birth, unable to achieve long life. Meanwhile, Senior is a heavenly deity, yet has existed since the ancient past, great age continuous, able to watch as heavenly talents return to the yellow earth one after another, truly transcending above. Shahal said. You have quite the way with words. My situation is nothing more than this, the bitterness I am aware of. If not for being planted in tribulation earth, I would have long been seized by another and planted like divine medicine, said the golden ancient tree. It was several dozen jong in height, its branches lush and flourishing, entirely golden in color. There was a type of divine aura, its shining leaves supporting the clouds. It's nothing much. Since you could come here, then the two of us are brought together by fate. I will gift you a heavenly deity fruit, help you stabilize your Tao and become a heavenly deity. It spoke like this. Shahal's mind was burning with passion, he naturally wished to break through as quickly as possible as well. Time didn't wait for him, the more powerful he was, the better. It was because he knew that chaotic times were coming, and only one's own cultivation was reliable, only then could he live. He tactfully asked whether he could obtain a few more fruits. It was because he saw that this tree had more than one or two of those golden fruities. As luck would have it, there is only one fruit that is mature. The others, if not only flowers, are still underripe, useless if taken. The golden ancient tree shook its head, its branches releasing hualala sounds. Shahal humblingly asked what kind of effects there would be after eating the heavenly deity fruit. At the very least, it would prevent 100 disasters from invading, dirt and gas not approach the body, said the ancient tree. Apart from being able to immediately become a heavenly deity, there were these wondrous effects too. What does Senior mean by 100 disaster from invading? Shahal asked. It can avoid lightning, stop flame tribulation, resist water calamity, the heavenly deity tree explained one after another. When Shahal heard this, the expression on his face immediately moved. It could avoid lightning tribulation, how could this be okay? He had to cross tribulation in every single cultivation realm, use it to temper his body. Senior, that lightning tribulation. Oh, I forgot, this great era rarely has lightning tribulation. These medicinal effects wouldn't affect anything, one does not need to worry. The ancient tree said. How can I not worry? I need to cross tribulation. Shahal said. What? You said you crossed heavenly tribulation. The heavenly deity tree was shocked. He thought that Shahal was lucky, unexpectedly entering from the outside world and not entering by resisting the heavenly tribulation. I already crossed heavenly tribulation 3 times. Shahao nodded. In that instant, he felt a powerful divine consciousness sweep over. Then, this ancient tree reached out a golden branch, placing it onto his shoulder. What powerful flesh! A primordial spirit that has experienced the cleansing of lightning tribulation. The heavenly deity tree immediately felt a different aura upon contact, feeling greatly shocked. Shahao didn't resist, because he had strength comparable to a heavenly deity. In addition, he saw that this old tree didn't carry any killing intent. Senior, you have stayed here for a long time, already becoming unfamiliar with the outside world. Are you willing to follow me? Shahao probed. Now, he felt like the heavenly deity fruit wasn't that useful for him. However, he could help the old friends close to him. This was definitely an unmatched divine tree. He was comparable to a heavenly deity to begin with, so if he ate the fruit, it wouldn't hold too much meaning. Moreover, if he couldn't guide the heavenly tribulation later, then that would be extremely troublesome. That was why he felt that cultivating on his own was still better. Suddenly reaching the heavenly deity level just didn't make him feel good. However, this tree still possessed extremely great temptation. If he could bring it back to Stone Village, make Grandpa Chief eat a heavenly deity fruit, then he wouldn't have to worry about the problem of growing older day by day. Stone Village had so many people. For example, if those uncles and companions all ate a heavenly deity fruit, not only would they become strong, they could also protect and watch over each other, not having to watch as their loved ones aged and died one after another. As for his own grandfather, the great demonic god, Shahao believed that he could cultivate to the heavenly deity level on his own. If he really couldn't, he could naturally take a heavenly deity fruit as well. That was why at this time, he stared at the ancient tree. Unknowingly when, his eyes already released a green light of desire, truly wishing he could immediately dig this tree up. Youngster, what are you thinking? The heavenly deity tree began to shiver from being stared at. He always felt like this youngster wasn't of the kind sort, making it feel incredibly uneasy. Senior, the outside world is going to end up in chaos. The Archaic Alliance, Desolate Order, vast uninhabited region, and others, every single one of them are starting to erupt with chaos, the world about to enter disorder. This place of yours will no longer be a pure land. The space immortal ancient remains reside in has already developed a large crack, about to be linked up to the outside world. Senior has to make preparations. Shahao said. What are you saying? What happened to the outside world? The heavenly deity tree revealed a serious expression, carefully asking. When it understood the situation from Shahao's mouth, the old face that appeared on the trunk was incredibly overcast. These types of things happened in the outside world, immortal ancient even about to no longer exist. That meant that this ancient place that wasn't disturbed by the outside world would most likely become connected to the 3,000 provinces. It would be good if there was a path to that place of long life. The heavenly deity tree said to itself. However, it knew that this was most likely unrealistic. Senior, the younger generation wishes to lead the way, inviting Senior to go out. Shahao said, feeling more and more passionate. With just your strength at the holy sacrifice realm, how will you protect me? There is definitely a group of sect masters outside. When the time comes, there will definitely be someone to seize me, plant me inside of a medicine garden. The heavenly deity tree said. Senior, I am only 20 years old, yet I already have this cultivation. What if I am given a few more years? One needs to look further. Shahao said with a smile. He already set his resolution to bring out this ancient tree. 20 years old, comparable to heavenly deity, this truly was shocking. Even in the last great era, this was quite unordinary. Immediately afterwards, Shahao didn't hide anything anymore, revealing 3 strands of immortal energy, forming a great Tao flower petal above his head. The sun and moon's essence shone, the essence of heaven and earth swirling and moving about. The Tao of heavenly laws were also echoing. The heavenly deity tree couldn't remain calm anymore, shocked to the point of immediately jumping up, the roots pulled from the earth, breathing hurried. Its tree leaves shook intensely, the entire tree resplendent with golden light. 3 strands of immortal energy, you actually reached this step. Even in the last great era, few young supreme beings could be like this. This left it feeling deeply shocked, greatly moved. In this place where heaven and earth were changing, gradually reaching the end of a great era, he could actually still meet a genius cultivator like this. This truly left it shaken up. The heavenly deity tree's attitude immediately changed. Previously, it could remain calm, but now, it was extremely stirred up, feeling that it encountered a ridiculous expert. Perhaps it could follow him out. Then, the two, one old one young, began to discuss among themselves. The heavenly deity tree swayed about, those golden leaves releasing a bit of dew that carried faint wine fragrance, inviting Shahao to drink a cup. This won't reject lightning tribulation, right? There is no need to worry, it is just the sweet dew of heaven and earth that has been brewed into wine. The old tree said. Even Shahao never expected things to go this smoothly, already convincing the heavenly deity tree, having it quite possibly following him. The heavenly deity tree had some misgivings, telling Shahao that it was too luxuriant, that if he followed at Shahao's side, it would be too eye-catching. When the time came, there would definitely be sex fighting over it. It could shrink and hide in spatial magical artifacts, but this would affect his growth, the heavenly deity fruits easily coming off, so it wasn't a good way. Shahao frowned and then said, "Is there no other way?" It was such a large ancient tree. Unless it was planted in heaven-mending sect, immortal palace, or underworld earth, these types of places, there was no way he could keep it in his hands. It would too easily draw the greed of others. If you can find all life earth, even if I shrink to a foot tall, I can still flourish inside, my Tao able to forge ahead, able to produce fruits again and again. I have all life earth. Shahao said. He thought back to the earth he obtained from Jun Dao's hands, but he already gifted it to the little rabbit. The heavenly deity tree told Shahao that there was all life earth in the depths of this ancient land as well, and it was also suspected to carry a great secret from the last great era. Shahao went on his way. Since there was all life earth, then it was best not to pass on this opportunity. If he could find it, then he'll be able to directly bring the old tree away, not having to worry about being discovered by others. The heavenly deity tree warned again, and again, that it was going to be extremely dangerous, not even it daring to charge forward. There was the most powerful lightning tribulation along the way. Shahao smiled. He made it here precisely through the lightning tribulation, already crossing tribulation 3 times. For others, it might be a place of inevitable death, but he didn't fear it at all. Sure enough, in this mountain valley, there were some places that were extremely peaceful, plants verdant and lush, but there were other places scorched black, lightning pouring down endlessly. Shahao frowned. The lightning tribulation in the very depths was terrifying after all, truly having the most powerful lightning hacking down from time to time. There were even some creatures formed from electrical arcs, bearing their fangs and claws as they rushed at him. There were safe paths as well, but they would immediately be covered in lightning. If one wanted to make it through, if one didn't rely on great luck, then they had to have secret treasures, or be powerful enough themselves. After advancing for several days, Shahao saw a stone arch bridge that led into a pure land. The plants inside were sparkling and translucent, multicolored light flourishing. Shahao stepped onto the blue stone, heading inside. In the end, the lightning blasted him until he was charred black. If it was an ordinary person, they would have definitely exploded on the spot. While still far away, he saw a bit of scenery in the distance. In the depths of the pure land was a piece of wonderful land with all types of irregular scenes. Brilliant auspicious light flowed about, incomparably divine. All life earth. Shahao cried out with joy. At the same time, he was extremely shocked, because that all life earth produced many strange scenes, extremely mysterious. The most shocking thing was that the earth was flickering with specks of multicolored light like a mirror, reflecting the figure of a woman. Why does it seem a bit familiar? Shahao was immediately a bit stupefied, feeling like he recognized her. It really was strange. Why did this figure look a bit familiar? Upon closer inspection, he seemed to have met this person before. Shahao muttered to himself, looking again and again. However, that was still a figure reflected by the all-life earth, so it was a bit indistinct, not a true body. In the Pure Land, there were many plants, many of which were old medicines that were several tens of thousands of years old, no lack of holy medicines here. This place was full of sweet fragrance and flowing light, incomparably divine. Shahao got closer. He supported his single heavenly passage, cautious as he approached, but there weren't any dangers here. Despite this being the case, he still acted extremely carefully. It was because this touched upon all life earth, something that he absolutely had to be careful with. Its existence here was too important. It was rumored that it could nurture all living things, maintaining a state of undecaying. Even if a corpse was buried inside, after endless years, it would revive and resurrect. There was even less of a need to speak of its other wonderful uses. This type of thing was priceless even back in immortal ancient, normally speaking, always grasped in the hands of unmatched experts. It was said that before immortals' kings fell, they would always try to find this type of supreme treasure and bury oneself inside, yearning for the undecaying and a chance at resurrection. Of course, this type of revival wouldn't be as simple as a year or two, possibly several tens of thousands of years, perhaps even the length of a great era. When Shahal thought of these things, his mind naturally trembled. Could it be that something was buried inside? In the past, inside the immortal medicine garden, he had seen all life earth as well, grasped by the white tortoise carrying immortal. Back then, Shahal had previously suspected that the long-life medicine might be produced by a great immortal king. However, there was no proof, only speculation. Now, he saw quite a bit of all-life earth before him, enough to compare to the amount in immortal medicine garden, the scope about 1 jong. Don't tell me that there is a female immortal queen buried underneath. Shahal said softly, his mind becoming a bit nervous. He already walked forward, facing this expanse of divine earth. All life earth was like sand, each granule sparkling, suffused with blue light, and erupting with dazzling brilliance, creating a hazy expanse. Smoke rose like multicolored clouds, overflowing with multicolored light and essence. Regardless of how one looked at it, it was extremely pure and holy, not like earth, but instead like the combination of all types of precious gems that were crushed and then later stored here. Shahal used magical force to separate the all-life earth, digging into it bit by bit, wishing to see what exactly was underneath. Suddenly, after undoing a bit of sand, he saw a snow-white jade foot. It wasn't large, but sparkling and pure white like a jade sculpture. Fucking hell. Even though he had previously guessed that there might be a corpse buried underneath, when he truly dug something out, he was still startled. Shahal carefully touched it. It was soft and gentle, seemingly still possessing heat, full of elasticity. He couldn't help but sigh. All life earth was astonishing after all, able to prevent a creature from decaying. Even after all this time, it still didn't rot, still looking like it was full of life. Was it really an immortal king? In the present world, there weren't any immortals anymore, there was no way anyone could reach that step. There would never be that type of person seen again. There are no living immortals, but being able to take a look at a dead immortal isn't bad either. Shahal said to himself. He wanted to see what an immortal king that was still intact was like, what kind of places they were different in. Only, he was a bit suspicious. This immortal king didn't release any terrifying aura, nor were there any world-shocking fluctuations that were released. It was a bit different from the immortal corpses he saw before. Suddenly, a streak of sword light swept out, hacking at Shahal's shoulder. With a pu sound, bloody light surged. If not for him dodging fast enough, his head would have been removed. This sword radiance was extremely sharp, able to hack through all before it. Shahal's expression fell. He was already standing 100 jong away, his movements incomparably fast. There are formations. His eyes flickered with radiance. He displayed magical force from far away, separating the all-life earth. This was originally a profound and complex formation, but due to some unknown reason, that formation was damaged, now already in a bad state. It seemed to have gone through flames, those formation materials all melting. Good thing something happened to it, or else it really would be troublesome. Shahal said. This time, he didn't act politely. After walking over, he directly grabbed that woman's ankles, directly pulling her out. It had to be said that this woman had a perfect body, her jade foot perfect, and then the pair of legs that were revealed were long and straight, snow-white like jade, wonderful to the point of leaving others in admiration. The lower parts of her legs were revealed, the crucial parts and others covered in dark gold armor. Her snow-white skin and armor flickering with dark light mutually reflected, setting off her body's magnificence. This woman was pulled out by Shahal, her waist, chest, and upper body just as perfect as predicted, and now that it was in his hands, the body seemed even more flawless. This was an exceptionally fine woman, one who would truly tempt the hearts of the world. Even with Shahal's picky eyes, he still sighed with amazement, becoming a bit absent-minded. It was a country-toppling beauty after all, her appearance extremely perfect. This woman was too pretty. Shahal earnestly tried to pick a flaw, but he still couldn't find any. She was full of life, as if still alive, her skin warm, possessing astonishing elasticity. Her beautiful eyes were tightly shut, like a sleeping fairy, peaceful and serene, as if she would wake up at any time. This was a sleeping beauty. She didn't move at all, resting on this sand. Shahal was sure that it was the first time he saw this person's appearance. What a pity that she died, or else this type of exceptional beauty might very well be a true immortal. If I could keep her by my side as a servant girl, just the thought alone would move one's heart. Shahao said. Of course, this was just his own nonsensical wishful thinking. There was no way he could directly say this to a living true immortal, but saying a few sentences like this randomly was still okay. Yi, something's not right. Shahao turned pale with fright, taking 2 steps backwards. It was because he discovered that this woman's long eyelashes were moving, as if her eyes were going to open. Moreover, he felt a wave of extremely familiar feeling. How could this be? This woman, even though her appearance was matchless, a truly gorgeous beauty, he had never met her before. This appearance didn't match any of his acquaintances. Why did he feel such a familiar feeling? Ripples undulated. This woman shone, her flesh sparkling, and air began to pass through the end of her nose, starting to revive. Shahao was shocked. She was really going to come alive. It's not immortal Dao aura, could it be? Shahao seemed to have thought of something, quickly taking action, making imprints and pressing forward, about to be pressed against her vitals. In that instant, this woman opened her eyes, her pupils deep like a starry sky, flickering with intelligent radiance. Her head of beautiful hair danced about, her entire being giving off an extraordinary otherworldliness. What kind of expert was Shahao? 3 strands of immortal energy surged, suppressing forward, surrounding her entire body, preventing her from escaping. This woman was too strange. He wanted to get the preemptive strike in. He never expected that this woman would have also cultivated immortal energy, her fine jade fingertips releasing a streak of divine light. Moreover, there was a terrifying stone bead that brought her body away, quickly evading outwards. Little thief, you dare mount a sneak attack on me. Right at this moment, this woman spoke up with anger, but also a bit of surprise. He felt more and more familiar. Shahao stopped his steps, becoming a bit dumbstruck, continuously staring at her. Eventually, he woke up, saying, "It's you." This woman was standing on the all-life earth, her figure tall and slender, almost the same height as Shahao. Her skin was snow-white and shining like ivory, curves rising and falling. She had a head of black beautiful hair, her figure impressive, possessing a type of world-shaking temptation. You ungrateful fella, actually coming to my place of seclusion, and even trying to plot against me. The woman was discontent, her eyes flickering with brilliance. Her long black hair reflected light like a mirror, scattering down to her waist, forming a black and white contrast with her fine jade-like skin. Together with the golden armor that covered the crucial areas, it gave her a type of completely unique exceptional style. Which, it really is you. Shahao was a bit speechless. He never expected he would dig up sky-severing sects which here. This young lady was opposed to Yu-chan regardless of whether it was in the lower realm, or the higher realm, the two were always tangling with each other. Ever since he entered Immortal Ancient, Shahao knew that he would run into her sooner or later, but a few years passed in the blink of an eye with no news of her, only now did he unexpectedly find her. Who would have thought that she would bury herself in all-life earth? I am cultivating in seclusion. The witch gave him a look, her entire being giving off an astonishing spirituality, as if she was a crafty sprite, aloof and otherworldly. Why do you seem a bit different from before? Shahao had too many questions. The witch's temperament was exceptional, but her appearance was definitely different from the past. Truly hateful. After cultivating that heavenly art, the formation and my clothes were all burned away. The witch muttered, feeling great discontent. Fortunately, she wasn't completely stripped, the dark armor still remaining. White-colored clothes fluttered about, covering her body. However, it was still quite revealing, but she didn't mind this. Today can be considered our first true meeting. The witch said, her teeth sparkling, red lips bright. You evil woman, you, in the past, they were always spiritual bodies. Shahao's head was covered in dark lines. It truly was hateful. This woman was too lowly. Their many meetings were all with spiritual bodies. The first time they met was in the Northern Sea's Kuan-Peng nest. Back then, she was a crafty and lively young lady. The second time they met was in Stone Country Imperial Capital, back then a nine-tailed fox fairy. After that, she displayed 3 different appearances, just as crafty and beautiful, previously working together with Shahao to capture Yu-chan. He thought that he had already seen the witch's true body in the 3rd meeting. This is my true body, always using spiritual bodies to contact you before. You are so crafty, if I'm not guard, how can that be okay? She laughed, her beautiful eyes moving about, a look of not being concerned in the slightest appearing on her face. Who was the one that was crafty? Shahao clenched his teeth. It was clearly this girl that was slippery like a loach. They already worked together so many times, yet she never revealed her true body. If not for digging her up this time, who knew when he would truly know what she really looked like? Shahao opened his heavenly eyes, releasing brilliant divine light, making sure that this wasn't a spiritual body, but a true body. Little stone, you dare take advantage of me. The witch quickly moved her body, as well as released resplendent symbols to interfere with his heavenly eyes, preventing him from seeing through. You tricked me for so many years, yet you still have the nerve to say that I am taking advantage of you. Shahao's expression was unkind. Hey, we haven't met for a few years, so how are things with you and Yu Chan? The witch changed the subject. She also took the initiative to wave towards him, smiling sweetly as she said, "Don't be so inflexible, old friends meeting again should be a joyous matter. I'll gift you a natural luck, you can have this all-life earth. I would have brought it away even if you didn't tell me to, I have a great use for it." Shahao wasn't in a rush to ask her why she was here. He produced a bone cauldron and began to collect the all-life earth. Why is it so heavy? After collecting only half, he discovered that something wasn't right. Even while exerting force, it was difficult to collect it all. "Let me give you a hand." The witch giggled. A few minutes later, Shahao began to sweat. The witch was also sparing no effort, just like him, expending a lot of foundational energy. Shahao's expression was unkind. "We just met, yet you are already trying to exploit others, you even have the shamelessness to call me an old friend. Don't be so stingy. Back then, I gifted you a delicate and pretty heaven-mending sex holy lady, yet you aren't even willing to help me move a bit of sand, truly no conscience." The witch said. This earth definitely had something underneath that possessed a strange force, restricting the all-life earth, preventing it from being completely taken away. After who knew how much time had passed, Shahao collected 70% of the sand, and then he saw a human outline appear in the sand. He was immediately shocked, looking towards the witch. The one laying below is the true owner, an immortal king. Shahao looked like he had seen a ghost, this all-life earth truly having a creature buried deep inside. The witch was quite daring. "Don't look at me, if it wasn't for cultivating a certain heavenly art, you think I'll be willing to lay here? I need the all-life earth to make sure my body doesn't break." The witch rolled her eyes at him, muttering like this. "How did you come in here?" Shahao asked, not immediately digging this thing out. "I saw a blood-soaked heaven and earth source energy cauldron that carried people. It shattered space, and after chasing it, I ended up here," the witch said. She was quite relaxed, as if she wasn't concerned at all. Her large eyes moved about, small waist stretching, appearing extremely easygoing. "What did you say?" Shahao immediately thought of the cauldron he saw on the ancient altar at the bottom of Burial Realm's black abyss. It didn't belong to the past or the present, but it came for him. Where did it go? Shahao immediately grabbed the witch's snow-white arms. Hey, aren't you grabbing the wrong person? I am not Yu Chan." She was graceful like an immortal, immediately moving over, glaring at him. "Look, just beneath the all-life earth," she added. Shahao was stupefied, looking beneath her feet with shock. The source energy cauldron that had always left him with great restraining fear was unexpectedly here, precisely underneath this all-life earth. How could Shahao not be shocked? "You aren't trying to dupe me, are you?" Shahao looked towards the witch. This witch was extremely crafty, nothing she said necessarily true. Moreover, what was beneath the earth was clearly the sign of a human and not a cauldron. The witch's wonderful figure moved about, black hair scattered down, her large eyes intelligent, bright like a moon, aloof like an exiled immortal. At this moment, she revealed a smile and said, "What benefits are there in deceiving you?" She always wore a black-colored long dress in the past, her skin like beautiful jade, incredibly alluring. Now, her white clothes were even purer than snow. This type of otherworldly temperament was a bit different. "Are you trying to steal your enemy's style?" Shahao looked at her. Back then, just a few spiritual bodies were enough to deal with her. "Right, that little Yu Chan girl, how is she now?" The witch's figure was tall and wonderful. She collected her beautiful hair, her eyes moving around, her exceptional pharaoh-like appearance changed, immediately revealing a provocative and enchanting beauty that moved hearts. Shahao looked at her. This witch was just like in the past, always cheery, slippery, a difficult character to deal with. Yu Chan's body back then wasn't a true body either, dividing into a main and second body. You should already know this, that we only captured the second body. Shahao said. Ayo, so affectionate when you mention her. Could it be that you really did something crazy with her? I truly never expected this. Back then, you were just a little kid, not even reaching my shoulder in height. Having such bad thoughts when you were so young, you actually did do it. Yu Chen really is pitiful, corrupted in the hands of a little brat, truly the downfall of a fairy of this world. The witch's figure rose and fell. She shook her head, putting on a mischievous expression. However, her large eyes flickered with radiance, extremely happy, clearly secretly taking joy in Yu Chan's disaster. Dark lines appeared on Shahao's head. What kind of attitude was this? In the past, he indeed hadn't matured yet, his age not great, but his height definitely wasn't short. How could it only reach her shoulder? You are going to mock me as soon as we meet, is that how it's going to be? Shahao's expression was unkind, staring at the witch, eyes sweeping past her ivory-like pure white body that was undulating with curves, grinding his teeth. Tell me, how is the one defeated under my hands? The witch was extremely happy. She is doing very well. Shahao said. Yi? The witch seemed to have discovered a new world, her expression becoming strange, her long and curved eyebrows moving, starting to giggle as she said, there really was an affair. Those words immediately made Shahao's eyebrows jump. He glared at her. I never expected that little brat back then would be so daring, truly daring to do bad things. The witch shook her head, continuously laughing. You should speak less nonsense. Embarrassed. I can tell with one look from your expression that something wrong definitely happened between you two. Ha ha, this really is interesting. I want to see how Yu Chan will try to act like a calm, an untainted fairy before me next time I meet her. The witch's smile was extremely brilliant. Shahao immediately became speechless. Only after a long time had passed did he say viciously. Actually, I've always had quite the interest in you. How about throwing yourself into my arms? Little fella, get as far away from me as far away can be. The witch's smile didn't decrease, but she was quite calm. How much older are you than me? Shahao walked a circle around her, and then said, your body is quite something, different from that sex fairy, all types of grace to it. Since the witch dared to ridicule and make fun of him, Shahao naturally didn't mind taking advantage of her as well, take some liberties with her. Little thief, you should just go find your fairy. This aunt doesn't have time to bicker with you. I have to cultivate and become an immortal. In the future, I wouldn't mind paying Yu Chan a visit, ha ha. She smiled in a rather carefree manner, her tall body moving about, extremely easygoing, as if a tender and beautiful immortal devil flower was swaying gently, beautiful and seductive. Shahao took action, grabbing forward at the witch's sparkling white lotus arm. 3 strands of immortal energy swirled. Hey, there's something more important. I don't want to fight with you. The witch activated immortal energy, and a stone bead appeared, displaying might. A mist appeared, bringing her in retreat. They didn't waste time, starting to dig at this place. The all-life earth was collected by Shahao and placed in that bone cauldron. Sure enough, the thing below had a mysterious power, pulling at the all-life earth, making it harder and harder to remove. Qingqiang. In the end, the true appearance of what was underground appeared. Immortal King. The witch was shocked, even her withdrawing her smile, treating this seriously, fearing that something unforeseen might happen. The bright and multicolored all-life earth below had a single person laying there, motionless. The armor was dim, full of cracks, not a trace of light. However, it gave others a mysterious, inviolable pure and holy feeling. Even though it had long become damaged, it was still unordinary. Is it really an immortal king? Even Shahao was moved. He always heard that only true immortals had all-life earth, used to plant long-life medicine, and bury one's body. It was extremely precious, able to maintain an undecaying state. Now, the legends proved true. Shahao revealed a grave expression, staring at the person below. Both him and the witch did everything they could to collect that shining earth, completely exposing that immortal body. A female immortal. Not right, there's no corpse, where is the actual person? They suddenly trembled. That armor was extremely ordinary, as if someone was wearing it, not caving in as it rested in the earth. However, after all of the earth was cleaned out, they discovered that there was only an armor. It was in human form, yet there was no owner present. This armor had previously belonged to a woman. What kind of material is this? Could it be some type of immortal gold? Shahao touched it, and then he pinched it. In the end, he discovered that even though this armor was long covered in cracks, he still couldn't move it. It was simple and ancient looking, not having any brilliance. However, there was no need to doubt that these were exceptionally precious battle clothes. If it wasn't damaged, it would definitely be world-shocking. It makes sense if one just thinks about it. In the past, there was an immortal Dao fairy that knew she was going to die, so she buried herself here. However, where is her true body? The witch said. Then, she turned her slender and elegant body, looked towards Shahao and said, "The all-life earth is yours, but I want this armor." Shahao gave it a try, but this armor didn't show any reaction, already half ruined. Apart from being sturdy, there wasn't anything else special about it. However, he knew that it was definitely strange. He didn't compete with her and nodded. It was because he also had a set of tattered armor, one that seemed to be related to the Lightning Emperor, so he might as well give this one to the witch. She was the one that discovered this place first anyway. Yi, there is a shower of light, ascension radiance. Did she ascend or ascend to heaven? The witch was shocked. Shahao was also shocked. This armor was shining strangely, a bit of light and mist drifting out from within, as if a perfect body scattered away here. This type of scene was a bit strange, and also extremely shocking. When an unmatched expert dies, some are willing to leave behind a mortal envelope, while others wish to dissipate, return to heaven and earth. This is likely the latter. Shahao said. What a pity, to be able to reach that cultivation realm. She was definitely an exceptional woman of her era. Only, to die silently and without any news like this, not even the all-life earth could do anything. Not even her name was left behind in this world. The witch sighed with amazement. Where is the heaven and earth source energy cauldron you spoke of? Shahao looked at her with an unkind expression. This evil woman was definitely using him to help her dig up this all-life earth. This armor originally possessed a mysterious power, sucking down on the immortal earth. However now, it no longer released a domain, returning to normal. Several years ago, I saw it fly over and enter this place. As for how it disappeared afterwards, I have no idea. The witch shook her head. She vowed that she wasn't lying, that she truly saw that cauldron, that she came precisely after following it here. Shahao believed that she wasn't lying. If she didn't see the cauldron, there was no way she could describe its appearance. The two of them continued digging, wishing to collect the remaining earth as well. Yi, still not easy to dig up. Could it be that there's still something else below, sucking down on this earth? Shahao's mind was moved. The all-life earth was 1 zhong in width, and also 1 zhong deep. After completely digging it up and collecting all of the earth, the two of them finally saw the very bottom, both of their expressions changing. It was a drop of blood, bright like a fire diamond, bright red and resplendent, divine multicolored light rushing into the heavens. As soon as it emerged, it released an immeasurable power. Shahao and the witch backed up, feeling incomparably shocked. What kind of expert was this exactly? It was just a drop of blood, yet it made their fine hairs stand on end, as if they were facing a stampede of vicious beasts. The drop of blood was resplendent and astonishing. Moreover, what they couldn't help but feel shocked over was that there was no killing energy. This was just a harmless drop of blood someone left behind, yet it unexpectedly had this type of mysterious pressure. If not for being comparable to the heavenly deity level, Shahao believed that any true deity and others would be forced to kneel down here, their bodies trembling uncontrollably. This was simply outrageous, too shocking. What kind of blood was this? I've seen it before. This is the blood on that source energy cauldron, bright red like a blood diamond, previously shining on it, illuminating the heavens. The witch spoke, a rare instance of not laughing, her expression serious. Shahao opened his heavenly eyes, staring at this drop of blood, unexpectedly not able to see through it. It had wisps of chaotic energy swirling around it. He couldn't tell what kind of natural laws and order there were inside. Even the heavenly eyes were ineffective. This was a rare thing. Not belonging to the past, not belonging to the present, return to see me, what exactly are you trying to do? Shahao said softly, his expression cold. Suddenly, this drop of blood erupted with surging energy, as if it sensed something, unexpectedly becoming like ocean waves, shaking up this place until space trembled, trembling greatly, about to collapse. What kind of person is this? The witch was shocked, widening her beautiful eyes and staring at that drop of blood. Comparable to willow deity. Shahao's heart was pounding. He had a type of feeling that if the willow deity truly revived, it should possess this type of might. The person the cauldron was carrying descended in the all-life earth to recover, because this earth can prevent one from rotting, nurturing all life and objects. The witch came to this conclusion. Shahao nodded. This should be the case. Did you see the owner of the cauldron? What kind of appearance did it have? Shahao asked. Extremely blurry, not easy to say. The first time, it seemed to be female, but fragments of time danced about, and then she became indistinct. Then, it seemed like I saw a male. The witch said without certainty. She felt that the cauldron was extremely sinister, as if it came from the past, making even time become unstable. It was difficult to say what kind of feeling it was. Immediately afterwards, that drop of blood became even more astonishing, releasing a sky-tearing fluctuation. In addition, it released waves of crying sounds, shaking heaven and earth. Vaguely, Shahao seemed to have heard a magnificent army with thousands of men storm past, shouts of war shaking the heavens. Moreover, in that instant, he saw a male, not extremely clear, but he seemed to be looking right at him face to face, standing tall from tens of thousands of realms away. He was like a heavenly emperor. Shahao's gaze was like lightning as he stared at that person. He himself also surged with a wave of mysterious energy. The witch was shocked, because at that moment, she unexpectedly couldn't approach, pushed out. That aura was too terrifying, able to easily make heavenly deities and others bow down. This video will end here.